It's a great day here at Curacao. Hello, Collections. I'm Jordan, and welcome to our Hug the Customer meeting for November and December 2020. We had a very busy holiday season and a successful one at that, I'll add. Though, in all of us being busy, we had a very low turnout in stories for November and December, making it challenging to award more winners. With that in mind, it's critical that we keep our ears attuned to customers' needs and issues so that we can take ownership and find the best possible solution to avoid customer friction and show that unforgettable customer experience we're known for, which is at the heart of the Hug the Customer philosophy here at Curacao. So, how do you follow the Hug the Customer philosophy? Well, you follow the pure principle. P is for being personable. If a customer tells you about a hardship or about an error on Curaçao's behalf, or even a bad experience with Curaçao, it's your job to take ownership and listen to the customer's situation and take important notes. U stands for being understanding of the customer situation. Remember, if the customer is upset, there must be a good reason for it. Let your customers know that they're being heard. R, respect the customer at all times. Again, respect the customer at all times. I know you like being respected as a customer, so you should do the same. It's karma. Express your sincerest apologies, E, if something went wrong, but commit to fulfilling your promises of an unforgettable experience and correct the issue. If the customer is going through a hardship, reassure the customer that we will find a solution to their problem. Now, these stories reflect some or all of these principles, and that's why we're here to share them with you today. So, are we ready to hear some great stories? Great. But first, let me remind you that since we had very few stories in November and December, we're going to do things a little differently today. Only the top 2 stories were selected for November. That means we will have a first and second place only. And for December, we will only have one winner. For November, first place will get $75 and second place will get $50. And for December, the winner will get $75. So, let's begin. Starting with November 2020, the story goes like this. Second place. The customer made a purchase in September for $2,094 on a promotional account, sub-account 70, and what seemed to be a posting error. The account showed a minimum payment of over $800, which is the sum of all the monthly payments. The person went on to say that I realized that the payment plan was incorrect, which caused the account to stay late in spite of any payments made into the account, which caused it to become deactivated. The customer was very upset by this, especially since she had it in mind to use the account again for another purchase, but instead found herself with an account and a payment plan that was totally different from what she'd signed for. In the middle of November, the account was assigned to me, and I had contact with her on November 18th, and during this call, the customer explained how things took place when she made the purchase. Analyzing the situation, I decided to take a closer look. At first, it seemed as if the account simply had a posting error. I escalated the account to my supervisor and reviewed the contract directly through paperless. In reviewing the account carefully, we concluded that the payment plan was showing incorrectly from what the contract showed, and it needed to be corrected, even though the account still required a payment to stay away from default. I took this back to the customer and explained what I had found, but she disputed that she was told something else and didn't agree that she still owed. I then took the time to explain how a promotional account worked, in that she had 12 months to pay the account without interest, and that her payments would be $170.97, which she was paying a lesser amount. The customer understood and from then on agreed to pay the difference to keep the account out of default. From then, I proceeded to submit a form to fix the payment plan and requested to reactivate the account since this wasn't the customer's fault. The account is now back in good standing, and I was able to use her credit once again. With that, the customer was thankful and committed to staying up to date and continued doing business with Curaçao. This recognition goes to the associate because of the time invested in investigating a problem and resolving it so that the customer wouldn't be impacted by the error caused by our system and protect that good status the customer had earned with us at Curaçao. The recognition goes to Carlos Emanuel Gonzalez Quintero from 10 Days. Good job, Carlos. Very proud of you. And now for first place. And the person wrote, in October, I had the opportunity to speak with a customer who explained that due to the pandemic, the company he worked for closed and found herself unemployed. She also explained that she submitted an activation request with CCS for assistance with her account, but hadn't heard from them yet, and couldn't understand why she was still getting calls after being told that the request was approved and that an activation would come soon. I told her I would find out for her the reason for the delay. She also confirmed that she had followed up numerous times calling CCS, only to be told that the activation was pending, but that it would take place soon. I reviewed the notes and found that in fact the request was confirmed to have been received, but not yet approved since it was pending necessary proof. However, after several days of following up and having back and forth conversations between CCS and myself, in addition, more requests by CCS to pay more fees were made because the account was reaching 100 days late, and CCS claiming that they hadn't received the proof yet, only to rebut that the customer had indeed submitted them. CCS finally realized that the proof was erroneously saved in another account. Once this was found, CCS moved right away to activate the account, bringing the account to 0 days late. The customer, getting very worried that nothing was coming about, was very relieved to know that it was finally resolved. The customer apologized for any rude behavior she showed previously, but assured the customer that I understood and would have felt frustrated if I were in her shoes. With that in mind, I felt that I demonstrated to the customer that here at Curaçao we care about the customer and not let them go until their needs are met. This level of commitment and sense of ownership, but also correcting a mistake on Curaçao's part and reassuring the customer that it would be resolved, goes to the heart of hugging the customer. The associate in this story is Alfonso Barragan from 60 Days. Good job, Alfonso. That's the right attitude. Thank you so much. And now let's read December's story. Again, this is only first place and one winner only. The first time I contacted the customer was in October. I had the opportunity to speak with the customer, who is a senior of 80 years of age, and let me know the reason for being late on the account. He's self-employed and was infected with COVID-19, along with his wife undergoing a dialysis, who is also in her 80s. He couldn't stay current on the account. The customer mentioned that in light of the situation he's been experiencing since October, he'd spoken to other associates and never came up with a solution to help his account. I offered different options to help bring the account current, but wasn't able to since he didn't have his card handy. But he asked that he be called back later. When I called him back, he didn't answer, but I had the pleasure of speaking with his wife for the first time, who expressed to me that on top of dealing with COVID, her husband is also suffering from Alzheimer's disease. I explained the situation on the account and again offered the same options from before, but she stated that at the moment it wasn't possible to pay the account, but that they would visit the store soon. The next day, I found that they made a $300 payment to the account, but even then, it wasn't enough to keep the account as it remained. But at the end of October, another string of payments were made to turn the account into remain. In November, the account was assigned to me once again, but this time I wasn't able to reach the couple. Another agent managed to speak with the wife, who explained that a payment wasn't possible at the moment because her husband was under medication from COVID. By December, the account reached 90 days. And on December 9th, another payment was made into the account and was reversed back to 60 days. In between all this time, the customer's wife also caught COVID. On December 18th, I had a chance to speak to the wife again, and she stated that they had just made a payment recently but weren't able to do another one. Seeing the situation in front of me and seeing the attempts to pay by the couple, the only option I could see to help the account was to refinance the account. I brought the account to a supervisor, but said that there was no more budget to process a refinance, nor was the customer enrolled in CCS to help in that way. So the supervisor referred me to another supervisor for guidance. I explained everything that had happened over the last 3 months, and even though the account was no longer assigned to me, I felt we needed to help them out. The supervisor then escalated the manager who requested authorization to refinance the account, which the manager agreed to as an exception due to COVID-19, even though it would generate a status T. I contacted the wife to let her know the good news, but that we would need the husband's help to do the recording. They managed to do the refinance on the account and bring it up to date. The couple were very relieved, and the customer's wife thanked me for the effort and for taking the time since October to find them a solution. The sense of ownership and commitment to assist the customers in need during this trying time gained this associate the recognition for hugging the customer. This recognition goes to Alfonso Barragan from 60 Days. Good job, Alfonso, winning 2 months in a row. You really demonstrated a hug the customer attitude, and we're so proud to have you on our team. Well, friends, that's it for our stories for now. But keep bringing in stories, and remember, if you have stories you feel are compelling, dramatic, and it shows you follow the pure principle, then take a moment to write a story. It doesn't have to be long. Just write what you did and what part of that story gives it that special touch of hugging the customer. If you need a few minutes, let your supervisor know. If you need support, let me know on Teams on the Hug the Customer channel, and we could talk about it for a few minutes. So thanks for watching. I hope you found these stories interesting. Hopefully, light bulbs start turning on for our next winning story. Remember to comment on our Hug the Customer channel, and we look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.